Hello, very good evening, everyone. My name is Teacher Carmen, and I'm a full-time teacher with My Stretcher, and I do the curriculum organization for Primary 1 and Primary 2 mathematics. Okay, all right. We have some attendees here with us today. Are you all parents? I guess most of you should be parents, right? Okay, can I have a show of hand? How many of you have siblings who are in secondary school? Any of the parents have siblings in secondary school? Okay, the reason why I'm asking this is because there was the syllabus that we are using now for primary 1 and 2 has been implemented since 2021 and 2022, right? So since 2021, the P1 syllabus has been implemented. So this first batch of students are now in primary 6. So if you are a parent of primary 1 and primary 2 students and you have siblings who are also in primary school, then the syllabus would be what your elder child have went through. Okay, but if your elder child is in secondary school, then there is a difference in their syllabus. Okay, so what we are using now is the 2021 syllabus. Primary 1 syllabus change in 2021 and primary 2 syllabus change in primary 2022. Okay, so none of you have siblings in secondary school, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. If that's the case, then I will know how to go on with my presentation today. Okay, let me share my slides. Yeah, before I forgot, we have another teacher here with us today, teacher Michael. Okay, teacher Michael is also our very experienced primary school teacher, right? So if you have any question, you can actually type it in the Q&A chat, and teacher Michael will help to assist to answer you from there. All right. Okay, so today will be our focus will be on primary 1 and primary 2 mathematics. Right, it's a subject briefing for what is covered in the MOE syllabus for primary 1 and primary 2 mathematics, and what we do and my structure for primary 1 and primary 2 mathematics, as well as some tips and advice or to answer any of your queries if you do have any. All right. Okay. Yep, so this is what we'll be doing. MOE syllabus, my structure syllabus, and some common challenges that primary 1 and 2 students face in mathematics. Okay, tips and advice. Okay, let's look at the MOE syllabus. So you can see that over here we have separated the syllabus into primary 1 and primary 2. Okay, both sides, left and right. Okay, so in primary 1, they will learn whole numbers up to 100. Okay, so it's progressive. In the first term, they will learn numbers up to 10 first, then numbers up to 20. Okay, then by the end of the year, they will learn numbers up to 100. Right, so along the way, they will learn how to do addition and subtraction, how to do the addition and subtraction algorithm, how to answer simple word problems involving addition and subtraction. Right, so in primary 1, students will also learn about the concept of multiplication and division. Okay, they will learn multiplication in terms of grouping, so it will be more pictorial. They will be given pictures and image, and they will be asked to do circling to group them together so that they learn the concept of multiplication in terms of grouping. All right, and then that's also basic division taught at primary 1 level. Okay, so you see the same thing repeats itself in primary 2. But now, instead of numbers up to 100, they will learn numbers up to 1000. Okay, in primary 2, the numbers will be much larger. They will learn the addition and subtraction algorithm of this larger number. Okay, as well as more in-depth concept on multiplication and division. They will start to learn the multiplication table. Okay, that's for the whole number part. And in primary 2, we will also introduce fractions to students. Okay, primary 2 is the first time students will get in touch with fractions, they will learn the very, very, very basic of fractions. Okay, so they will have things like a pizza cut into four parts, and we will teach them what is a quarter, what is a half. Okay, and very basic addition of fraction with like fractions, with like denominators. Like fractions means they have the same denominator. Okay, now, so that's for whole numbers and fractions. All right, and you can see primary one and primary two, they learn money. Okay, there's some difference in the money they learn in primary one and primary two. So primary one, they only learns dollars. Okay, whereas in primary two, they start to learn about cents. All right. And measurements, you see, we see length and we see time. So of course, the length and time that they learn in primary one and primary two, it will be more in-depth in primary two. So for example, primary one, they will learn by the hour. Okay, they learn how to count by the hour. They learn about what is AM. AM means in the morning. PM means in the afternoon or evening. And for primary two, they will learn to tell time to 5 minutes. Okay, they will learn more in-depth about time, right? So in primary two, under the strength of measurement, we will also introduce the topic of mass and volume to them, right? Whereas in primary one, they only learned about length. Okay, they learned about length. They learn how to use a ruler to measure in centimeters. Okay, and primary two will be more measurement topics, measurement of mass and volume. Okay, and we see as we move down, geometry, we have the 2D shapes in primary one, okay, which includes the basic shapes, circle, square, rectangle, triangle, and half circle. Okay, and in primary two, they will learn 3D shapes, like cylinder, cube, cuboid, cone, right? And we also have picture graph in primary one and primary two. So again, it is a step up. Okay, so primary one, the picture graph that they see, right? One picture will represent one unit. Okay, so if they see four apples, that means it's four. Whereas in primary two, one picture may represent 2 units. So if they see four apples, it may represent 8 apples. Okay, so these are the difference in primary one and primary two, even though the topic look the same, okay, but it's more in depth. Okay, all right. So just now, at the beginning of the webinar, I did ask if anyone have siblings if any of your primary one child have siblings in secondary school, then they will be doing a different syllabus. Okay, but if your other child is now in primary six or below primary six, they are still in primary school, then it will be the same syllabus because the syllabus that we are using currently, the MOE syllabus we are using currently has been implemented since 2021. Okay, for primary one, it has been implemented since 2021. So we can look at P1 from 2021. The length that I mentioned earlier, we will learn, the students will learn how to measure in centimeters. So they really need to know how to read the readings from the ruler, how to start measuring from the zero of a ruler, and read the measurements using the centimeter side of a ruler. Okay, yeah. All right. And also on the topic of length, students will also need to learn how to not only know how to read the measurements from the ruler, they need to also be able to draw accurately using a ruler, draw a line accurately using a ruler. Okay, so for example, this question over here, use your centimeter ruler to draw a line 7 centimeter long. Okay, so they need to know that they have to start from the zero marking on the ruler and draw all the way until 7 centimeter. Okay, this is what they are expected to know for the topic of length in primary one. Okay. This one is the old syllabus. I will just go to the new syllabus here. Okay. So, in primary one, students will need to be able to tell time to 5 minutes. Okay, and they will need to use the term AM, PM, hour, and minute. Okay, they will need to be able to draw the long hand and the short hand on the clock face, right? The long hand to represent the minute hand, the short hand to represent the hour hand, right? And there must be a clear distinction when they draw the long hand and the short hand. One must be clearly longer than the other, and it must be a straight line, and it must be pointing at the correct place. Okay, and so for example, if it is, let's look at this one. Okay, for example, if this is 10:45, right? Okay, so the long hand is pointing to 9, and the hour hand, it should be closer to 11, right? It should be closer to 11 because it's 15 minutes to 11. So the shorter hand should be closer to 11. So this is what the the teachers will check out for when they mark the work. Okay, make sure that the short hand is pointing accurately. For 10:45, the minute hand must be pointing to 9, and then the short hand must be pointing between 10 and 11, but nearer to 11. Okay, so these are the tiny details that we will tend to look out for when students are learning this topic, because many of times the student will actually draw the shorter hand to be at 10 because it's 10:45, right? So most of them will put the hour hand pointing to 10, and that is incorrect because the hour hand will actually shift when the minute hand shift also. It's just shifting slowly towards 11, right? So these are the things that we will need to highlight to the students and be mindful of. Okay. Yeah. So students will learn the duration of 1 hour and a half an hour. Okay, so this is included in telling time to 5 minutes, right? Okay. And for primary two, students will need to be able to tell time to 1 minute. Okay. Measure time in hour and minutes, and they need to be able to do conversion. So for example, 1 hour, 3 minutes. They need to know that 1 hour is 60 minutes, and 1 hour, 3 minutes is 60 plus 3 minutes, 63 minutes. Right, then there will also be some simple word problems involving time, whereby they will need to find the starting time or the ending time of certain events, okay? Or it could be that they are required to find the duration. So in such cases, they will be taught how to draw a timeline. Okay, we will teach the students how to draw a timeline, where to put the starting time, ending time, and how to calculate the duration in between. Okay, this is what is required in primary one and in primary two. Okay, uh, now we go on to geometry. Okay, what is included in shapes? In primary one. Okay, these are the shapes we list down over here: rectangle, square, triangle, circle, half circle, quarter circle. Okay, this is what the students in primary one, they are required to be able to recognize these shapes. Okay, spell these shapes, okay, and classify them according to their sizes as well. Okay, and they need to be able to form different figures using this basic shape, okay, to form a diagram, a picture, using a mixture of all this basic shape that they have learned. Okay, and one thing that is new over here, copy figures on dot or grid or square grid. Okay, so they are supposed to use a ruler and a pencil and copy the exact figure down onto a grid provided to them. It could be a dot grid, it could be a square grid. Okay, so they are supposed to be able to replicate the identical figure, okay, using a ruler and pencil. Yeah. Why do I say it's new? Because before 2021, this wasn't in the syllabus. Yeah. But if all of you have students in primary school, then is what is expected now lah. Okay. All right. Then for primary two, uh, the 2D shape that they are going to learn will involve patterns. Okay, so it could be forming patterns using the different sizes of the shapes. It could be different color. It could be different shape. It could be different orientation. So they need to be able to recognize a sequence of pattern and maybe fill in the missing pattern in between the sequence, or maybe list down the next two pattern in the sequence. Okay. All right. So we should all be very familiar now that in primary one and primary two there are no exams. Okay, there are no weighted assessment, there are no exams. Okay, if there is any, it would be non-weighted. Okay, in primary one and primary two, it may be just a class quiz. Okay, it may be an assessment, but it's non-weighted. Right, so in primary one and primary two, it's very stress-free for the students because they don't need to sit for any examination or test. Okay, so what replace all this examination and test, to have some form of assessment, whether the child is learning the topics taught in school. Most of the school will still have some quiz, topical quiz, maybe at the end of every topic or maybe at the end of two or three topics. They will have some quiz to check and test the understanding of students, whether they have learned the topic well. Okay, but all this does not really contribute anything to their report book, right? It's not weighted. All right. The first examination that a student will sit for will be at the end of primary three. Okay, that's the first examination they will sit for. That will in which the grade their marks will be recorded in their report book. That is end of primary three. Okay, so you see, primary one, primary two, primary three, there's actually a lot of things that they learn in the whole 3 years from primary one to primary three. So some students, I happen to have a few primary four classes this year, and I happen to have a student who didn't pass the primary three examination, which is the first examination, and the mother was very worried during her first lesson, primary four first lesson, and I see that the child is uh she knows that it is important for her to study her math well, and she has been very diligent in class. And sometimes when she find the topic difficult, she actually break down after class. So sometimes it's a good and bad thing, for no examinations in primary one, two, and three, because when it comes to primary three, the child suddenly goes through an exam, and if the child doesn't pass the exam, then it will be a shock to the child. Yeah, so this child, I'm working very hard with her regularly to help to boost her confidence. She's very diligent, and she knows that she has to work a little harder to on her math, to catch up. So I'm very willing to help her. But I feel that she's also under a lot of pressure and stress for a 9 to 10-year-old, a primary four, because she failed her primary three first test, and she's very stressed now. Yeah, so that's good and bad lah. Yeah. So what we have in my stretcher is we have our mid-year checkpoint and end-year checkpoint. So even in primary one and primary two, so the students and the parents can have an overview of their learning. We will have a report, okay, where we will sift out their strength and weaknesses. Later, I will share more about the progress report when I talk about the MS syllabus, right? So no examination is different views on this. Some parents think it's very good, but the example I shared with you, it didn't turn out too well for the child, for the child who is in primary four now. Yeah. Okay, so no exams, primary one, primary two. Okay, the first exam is end of primary three. Okay, so this is what we have in mind structure, our curriculum. This started last year. Our revamped curriculum started last year, where we introduced this discovery zone to lower primary students. So primary one, primary two, and primary three. We will have this discovery zone for mathematics every alternate weeks. Right. So this is a 30 minutes activity, which is included in the 2-hour session. That means the first 1.5 hour of alternate weeks, we will do the main My Stretcher curriculum. And then the last 30 minutes, we will have this discovery zone activity, whereby the worksheet will look a little different. It's supposed to be something that is out of the classroom, uh, that is fun. It could be a fun base. Math Ninja is fun base. Sometimes it could be for primary one, it could be drawing using the different shapes, right? Drawing a picture or a house, right? Then math lab would be mathematics that is related to real world problems. Like, so for example, if we are on the topic of shapes, so a math lab problem could be exploring the shapes on the soccer ball. So we will introduce to students, have you seen a soccer ball before? So if not, then we will play a video, show them a soccer ball, and we will ask them to, look closely and study what are the two shapes that make up a soccer ball. So relate shapes to real world, and we will ask them to guess, do you know how many of the two different shapes there are in the soccer ball? So we will relate the topic of shapes to real life. That's for math lab. And the other one, the last one is math detective, whereby it involves more critical thinking. Uh, Sometimes it's a little bit of math that is not in the syllabus. Uh, Things like Gauss summation. We have Gauss summation in one of the weeks. I can't remember, is it primary one, two, or three? Gauss summation, whereby they will learn how to add strings of numbers. For example, add the number from 1 to 50. Okay, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way to 50. Know what is a better way to add up all these numbers? Yeah. So the reason why we have this discovery zone is also because that since there's no examination in primary one, two, and the first half of primary three, so we wanted to have this discovery zone so that us we can develop the interest for mathematics and number sense in our students. And many of the students feedback that they found this activity every alternate week very fun, and they look forward to this. Yeah, some of my classes when I go to, then they were like, okay, is there a game today? They think that this activity is a game for them. Yeah, so it's related, math related, but not really something that they see in the textbook. Yeah, is to develop their number sense and interest in mathematics, right? So this is the discovery zone that we have. Okay, here are some examples. Yeah, this is the Math Ninja, where students are supposed to tell a story, a mathematics story, based on the picture. So, for example, they see one dog, okay, and two cats. So altogether, they see three animals. Yeah, could be uh one, one, two, three, four girls and two boys. Yeah, so it's a story that they have to fill in the blanks with some math number, right? Something fun. There's Math Ninja. This was the soccer ball activity that I was talking about for math lab. So the two shapes of a soccer ball, they are actually the pentagon and the hexagon. So if you have remembered just now earlier when we were talking about the primary one and primary two syllabus, the MOE syllabus, pentagon and hexagon are actually not in the primary one and primary two MOE syllabus. So we're just introducing them to two other shapes over here. Okay, and this one is the Gauss summation that I was talking about, the math detective, where it's more critical thinking questions. So how to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we will teach them, what is the trick, how to add them together, and then we will let them practice some numbers. So you can see the outline and the design of the worksheets for the design of the worksheets for uh this discovery zone. They are also more attractive and fun. It's different from our main MS curriculum. Okay, now let's look at what do they do in the first 1.5 hour of the lesson. And also in the other alternative weeks where we don't have discovery zone, what do they do for the full 2 hours? Okay, our mind structure curriculum, main curriculum is closely designed to supplement the MOE syllabus. So whatever is in the MOE syllabus, we will cover. All right. So how do we cover them? We will have these key components, okay, which is the concept paper. We will teach the basic concept from the scratch, right? Because when we teach a new topic, our assumption is the student have not learned it in school yet. Okay, so if the student have not learned it in school yet, we will teach them from the very basic foundation using the concept paper. And then we will have problem solvings. Okay, we will teach them how to solve simple problems that can arise from that topic. Okay, and then number 3, we have the MS Power Codes. So MS Power Codes will be problem solving heuristics. Will be some problem solving technique to solve heuristics such as working backwards. It could be making a systematic list. It could be even part whole model, drawing a model, right? It could be comparison model, right? These are the examples of some of the heuristics we teach at primary 1 and primary 2, okay, which is built up for them in primary 3 and primary 4. So primary 3 and primary 4, they will see the same power codes again, but the numbers are bigger, and the question may be the question may have more information, right? So from primary 1 and primary 2, we train them to do bar model already, right? So they get used to it, and as the level of difficulty increases, they can handle it better, right? And lastly, we also have the homework booster. Homework booster is a component that we will not cover in school. We will not cover in class. Okay, however, if your child is a MySpark student, we do the homework booster in MySpark during the MySpark's curriculum. All right. So if the child is just coming for MyStretcher for the 2 hours lesson, weekly 2 hour lesson, then the homework booster will not be covered in class. Instead, it is something to test their knowledge at home. So after they receive the mark worksheet with completed corrections, the student should view the video. Okay, later there's a video, e-study buddy video on this platform. Go through the whole worksheet again. Make sure they fully understand the concept, the problem solving, or the power codes. Okay, then they can attempt the homework booster. Okay, so after the child attend the homework booster, they can watch the homework booster video on eStudy Buddy to mark their work and check whether they have the correct understanding. But maybe primary 1 and primary 2, they are a little young. So I would recommend parents to sit down with them for the first few sessions to teach them how to, use the video to revise and to check whether their homework boosters have been done correctly. Then subsequently, when the child is more independent, they can do it by themselves. Okay, so the other components that we have in our MyStretcher curriculum will be hands-on experience lesson. This one we only have one in the whole year. So hands-on experience is whereby they will walk around the class. Okay, most of the time the lesson plan include them to walk around different stations and explore different kind of activity. It's still related to math, right? And also the discovery zone, which I have mentioned earlier, which is the Math Ninja, Math Lab, or Math Detective. Okay, so these are the something extra that is out of the MOE syllabus, but still related to primary mathematics, what they are learning. Okay, to spouse their interest in spoil their interest in mathematics. Okay, so other than the key components, teaching them the concept, problem solving, power codes, all right, and have something extra out of the classroom, we also have this topical revision and revision paper. Okay, so what's the difference? Topical revision will be after every few topics. After we cover every few topics at MyStretcher, we will have a topical revision, whereby we will revise the topics that we have been doing for the past few weeks. Yeah, so this serves as number 1, if your child have missed lessons, okay, then this is where they can catch up. Number 2 is to test their understanding, okay, and before we move on to a new topic, okay. Then revision paper. Revision paper, we will have them usually before the checkpoints. That means before our checkpoint in my schedule is like the test, right? Where the students will sit for 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes. Okay. Then we will have a progress report. So before we have the checkpoint, before we have this test, there will be revision papers. Maybe one set, maybe two set, maybe three set of revision paper to prepare them uh, how to sit for a checkpoint, okay? And how is it going to be like? So there will be minimum help, okay? And the student will attempt the paper by themselves. So revision paper, usually it will cover more topics than a topical revision. And it will usually have the component MCQ, short answer question, and long answer question, right? And here we have the progress tracking. Where after the MYCP is the mid-year checkpoint, EOYCP is the end of year checkpoint. Okay, so after each of this checkpoint, we will generate a student progress report. And in this student progress report, we will tell you how many marks did your child score out of the full marks. Primary 1, Primary 2, full marks usually is 50 marks or 80 marks. And we'll tell you the marks the child score, and we'll also tell you the percentile. That means as compared to all the primary 1 students in my stretcher, okay, how well did your child do? Okay, compared to all the primary 2 students in my stretcher, how well did your child do? Okay, so to have a comparison, and also we will have a breakdown of the different topics that were tested in the checkpoint. And whether there are more basic questions, more intermediate questions, or more challenging questions from that topic, and how well your child has performed in that topic. So if there's a certain topic, let's say multiplication and division, the child is not too strong in multiplication and division. So that's where you can go back, take the worksheet, watch the video, try the homework booster, find some extra questions on that certain topic to work on that area, right? Okay. Yeah. So this is the MS Study Buddy, where you can find the videos for the main worksheet and for the homework booster, right? So most of my students, I will recommend them. In fact, all of my students, I recommend them to watch the eStudy Buddy when they receive back a mark worksheet. Right. So after they get back their mark worksheet, I will tell them go back and watch the study buddy, revise the whole thing again, try the homework booster, and check your answers using the video on eStudy Buddy. Right? Okay. So what are some common challenges that primary 1 and primary 2 students face in mathematics? So maybe at this point, anyone want to ask any question or share via the chat or the Q&A if there's any challenges that your child or you face when guiding your child in primary 1 and primary 2 maths. Before I share the slides, is there anyone who want to share or ask if there's any challenges that you are currently facing or you have faced before with an elder sibling? Anyone have something to ask? So I can address that before I share the slides. Any challenges faced by your primary 1 or primary 2 child in mathematics? Or not yet? January is still the holiday mood. Okay. Uh, if there's any question, you can keep them coming in the Q&A or in the chat. Okay, if not, then I don't see anyone raising hand. And I don't see any question coming in also. If you have, you can just put them in the Q&A or the chat. Okay, so let me just move on to share my slides then. Okay, some of the common challenges that we see would be reading and understanding sentences or long phrases. Yeah, because especially so for primary one students, it's the first time that they enter school, and in primary one, it's not primary one math is not just about math, it's about whether they understand what the question is asking of them. So this is one common challenge that primary one students they face. They are not able to understand the instruction. And because they don't understand the instruction, they cannot answer the question, right? So this one we will need to that's why for primary one and primary two classes, I always make sure I read the instruction with them, or I will ask a student to read the instruction. I never ever skip the instruction because that's very important. In a class setting, I can tell them what to do and they understand. But when they are faced with a paper, if they don't read the instruction, they don't know. Are they supposed to cross, or are they supposed to circle? Are they supposed to color? Right? These are the keywords that they need to learn. Right? So primary one, primary two students, we will teach them, okay, highlight. If this is a cross, you highlight a cross, you know you're supposed to cross. If it's a color, you highlight color, you know you're supposed to color. Okay. Not sure how to tackle questions. Um, uh, Especially when they come to word problem. Maybe now primary one, you may not have seen word problem yet in January. Okay, but primary two, you could have seen the word problem in primary one before. Some students, they are uh, not so sure how to tackle word problem, especially when two sentence and one question given to them. So that's 3 line. Okay, they are not sure how to tackle that. Suddenly there's a lot of words, a lot of information. So annotation is very important. Like I mentioned, highlighting, drawing some models to help them translate the information from the question into picture. So when it's pictorial, they can understand the diagram. They learn how to understand the diagram. It's easier for them to digest the information and come up with a solution. All right. And number 3 is cannot relate concepts learned to answer indirect question. Okay, why is this a common challenge? Because in preschool, whatever they learn are very direct. Okay, if it's a 1 plus 3, it's a 1 plus 3. If it's a 10 minus 9, it's a 10 minus 9. It's very direct, okay? Right, very direct. Either you add or you subtract. But in primary school, they start to have questions like that. Blank is 10 more than 90. So what is it that they are really asking for? Blank is 10 more. So I will always tell my students, this blank is actually 10 more. Okay, this blank is 10 more. Okay, so 10 more. Okay, this is 90 compared to 90. 10 more than 90, right? So this is 90. The blank is 10 more. So I draw 10 more. 10 more than 90. This is the blank. Blank is 10 more than 90. So when the student understand the English in the question, and they could even use a picture to help them understand, and they will know that they're supposed to add 10 and 90. So it's not so direct, 90 plus 10. Instead, it's in a sentence. So they need to understand. Sometimes they may need to minus. It depends on where the blank is, right? So this is what we do to teach them and break down the question, help them understand the question. Okay. And another example over here, arrange the numbers from biggest to smallest. You see the numbers are not very direct. 5 tens, 5 ones. Okay, so in such cases, what do? We will teach the students to annotate. Write down first. 5 tens, 5 ones. It means 55. Okay, 5 tens is 50, 5 ones is 5. You add them together, you get 55. And then 2 tens, 55 ones. 2 tens is 20, 55 ones is 55. Okay, we add them together, we get 75. 3 tens, 35 ones. 3 tens is 30, 35 ones is 35. Add them together, we get 65. Now we compare 52, 55, 75, 65. Arrange from biggest to smallest. Okay, I always ask students to annotate. Okay, start from biggest. Okay, so we start from biggest. So which is the largest? We compare 50 to 55, 75, 65. So we will discuss as a class which is larger. Then some student will answer 75. Yes. Okay, 75. So number one, 75. Then which is the next largest? Number two, number three, number four. Okay, this is how we will do annotation. All right. Next. Yes, so this is the systematic teaching methodology. So one of the method would be the bar model method that I use to help students break down and understand. It could also be drawing using a number line. Draw 90 first, 10 more means a number on the right. Okay, so draw an arrow, go to the right. Okay, so we're supposed to add these two numbers. Okay, so this one, the same question, right? So we will teach them to do the annotation first, then arrange the numbers. Yeah, sorry, we are supposed to no, not write 75. I made a mistake just now. We're not supposed to write 75. We are supposed to write the number in its original form. We are supposed to write 2 tens, 55 ones. Okay, so one common mistake is students will write 75, 65, 55, 52. Okay, so this one is actually wrong. We are supposed to use the original form. Okay, we're supposed to write 2 tens, 55 ones, then 3 tens, 35 ones, okay, then 5 tens, 5 ones, and lastly, 52. Okay, so the number in the original form. Okay. This is another example of a question. You see, there are 3 sentences or 2 sentences and 1 question over here. So quite long, many words and many information. I'm a 2-digit odd number. Okay, so 2-digit, right? So it can be tens and ones. Okay, sometimes I would also draw 2 boxes to represent the 2-digit. Okay, tens and ones. Okay, and it's an odd number. Okay, so 2-digit, I draw the 2 boxes, one in the tens place and one is in the ones place. And it's an odd number. Odd number means must end with 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Okay, odd and even number is taught in primary 2. So this is a primary 2 question. Okay, so over here, the ones place, it could be 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Okay, digit in the ones place is 7 smaller than digit in the tens place. Okay, so ones place is smaller. Okay, 7 smaller. Okay, so that means if I plus 7, I will get the digit in the tens place. Okay, so the only way for me is 1 plus 7. 1 plus 7, 8. If I have 3, 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 is not a digit, right? 10 is a number. 10 is 2-digit number, right? So it cannot be 3 plus 7 equals to 10 in the tens place, right? So the only possibility is we have 1 in the ones place. Then we add 7, we get the digit 8, right? All this will result in a 2-digit number. Okay, we will not get a single digit, so it's not possible. The answer is 81. Yeah. So over here we have what we want to share is a systematic teaching methodology that we teach students, okay, to systematically look out for the keywords from the word problem, okay, understand them one by one, okay, do it systematically. Now, this is another common challenge that students face, word problems. Okay, so what we do is a step up method. Okay, this is a primary 1. This is what we have in our primary 1 worksheet. Okay, so there are 3 crocodiles, 4 counts. How many elements are there altogether? You see that we teach them how to highlight the information, the key information. 3 crocodiles, okay, highlight. 4 counts, highlight. Altogether, highlight. Okay, this question is telling me there are 3 crocodiles. So we have the picture in the worksheet, 3 crocodile. And we have the picture, 4 count. Okay, and we also have the scaffolding. We draw the boxes for them. So they know that they are supposed to put numbers into the boxes. Okay, they're supposed to put either addition or subtraction into the circle, the operations into the circle. Okay, so 3 crocodile plus 4 counts. Okay, because they're asking for all together, so we need to put a plus. Okay, so 3 plus 4, 7. There are 7 animals altogether. So this is the very first addition subtraction word problem solving worksheet that they will see. It's a very simple word problem, and there's picture, there's scaffolding to help them. Then we will progress on. Okay, maybe a few weeks later, we will progress on after pictures are gone. Okay, so this is a step up method. Okay, now the pictures are gone. All right. Similar type of question. 8 pencils, 6 pencils. How many pencils altogether? Okay. This is where we introduce the power codes to them. The problem-solving heuristics part whole model. Right? So 8 pencils is a part, 6 pencils is another part. When they ask for all together, they're asking for the whole. Okay, so we use the model 8, 6, and all together. Right? So we even use this concept of PPW, part whole. Then also, they're supposed to write equation because if it's a word problem, equation carries marks. Okay, so they have to write down 8 plus 6 equals to 14. Yeah, this equation is something that we really want to emphasize. Not only for primary 1 and primary 2, I do realize that even at primary 3, 4, 5, 6, some students, they refuse to write the equation. Yeah, so it's something that I remind all students. Of course, we train them from primary 1. But because primary 1, the scaffolding is there, we draw the boxes and the circle for them. So they know that they need to fill up the boxes and circle. But along the way, when they learn algorithm, when they learn how to do the vertical working, say 129 plus 35, when they learn how to do the vertical working, they somehow forgot that they have to write the equation. We have to remind them again. You know, the equation is where you get your marks from. So you show all your equations. Even though it's a 2 plus 3 equals to 5, you have to show it. Right? So this is something we always want to remind our students. And not only teaching them the concept, we will remind them, you know, how not to lose any of your marks. Yeah. Okay. Then it's another step up over here. You see? So from picture first, okay, to a simple problem with the model and the boxes all drawn for you. Then we step up to, oh, something even more. So now there's 3 parts. 5 dresses on Monday, 8 dresses on Tuesday, total of 18 dresses. Okay, so how many dresses on Wednesday? So now we are given the whole. The whole is 18. We are asked to find that part, which is Wednesday. So you see, this WPPP is to help students identify. Okay, when we highlight total of 18 dresses, what is this total? Is it a part of what was sold on Monday to Wednesday? Or is it everything, the whole of what was sold from Monday to Wednesday? Because of the word total, it is actually the whole. Okay, then 5 dresses on Monday, so it is a part. 8 dresses on Tuesday, so it's another part. Okay, and what is on Wednesday? Wednesday is another part. Okay, so when we are asked to look for a part, we have to subtract. When we are asked to look for a whole, we have to add. So this is how we input problem-solving skills into primary 1 and primary 2 students. Because for primary 1 and primary 2 students, word problems are very new to them. Just by looking at the question, they wouldn't know. Is it plus or minus? They don't know. They don't understand. So this is how we input all these problem-solving heuristics, problem-solving skills to them. Teach them how to identify whole and part. Okay, then if they're looking for a part, they need to minus. If they're looking for a whole, they need to plus. Right? So we step up. And then subsequently, we will remove the model. We will not underline for them. Okay, they're supposed to underline themselves, highlight themselves. Okay, we will not draw the boxes for them. And so by the end of primary one, in primary two, we will stop doing all this scaffolding. That's where they have to learn to be a little more independent. I know some students, at primary, maybe even at the beginning of primary two, some students will still draw the line by themselves. Not boxes, but they will still draw the line by line for themselves, to write neatly. And I think that's a very good habit, for them, to systematically know that, hey, this is a word problem. I need to show my equations. I need to draw my model. Yeah. Some students, they will divide their page. This part is for model, this part is for working, this part is for the equation. And I thought it's really a very good habit. Yeah. Okay. So this is how we solve the common challenges faced by primary one and primary two students in mathematics. Okay, so from short answer question to long answer questions, these are the common challenges that we see they face. Right. Okay, any question at this point in time? Oh, sorry. Okay, if not, then I will just move on to give some tips and advice. Uh, Okay, in recent PSLE, we do realize that mathematics is not very rigid. It's not as rigid as before. Nowadays, primary school mathematics, they test more, a lot of non-routine questions. Sometimes it can be from real life examples. Okay, mathematics in daily life, more application of mathematics. So it will be helpful. Uh, when you want to teach your child mathematics, it doesn't really have to be really on books and paper. You can learn mathematics anywhere, even when you are taking a bus. You can ask them, how do you think this bus is? Should we measure in kilometer, meter, or centimeter? Yeah. And we can teach them about time. I think primary one, primary two, some of them don't know how to read time. Yeah. So this is something that they do in daily life. We can teach them, how long is 30 minutes from home to go to school. Uh, if I want to take a bus, how long is the bus journey? We can teach them how to calculate time. So there is a topic duration, right? Starting time, ending time. So these are some uses of mathematics in daily life where we can really work with our child, right? So it doesn't really have to be from books and paper. It could be even in a supermarket also, right? So this kind of question we can ask the child, and it will actually trigger them. And when they learn the topic of time in school, then they will be like, oh, actually this topic is going to be helpful so that I can know how to calculate time, right? So it will trigger the interest in the child, and they would probably love the topic of time in school, right? Okay. Uh, what parents can do to help them? Over here we have a revised multiplication table. It's never too early to learn the multiplication table, because some children, they take longer to remember the whole table. Uh, and sometimes when they have learned it, they could forget it. Okay, so we need to repeatedly, test them and ask them to recite the multiplication table. It will only benefit them. The earlier they learn the multiplication, the better it is. Right? You don't have to wait until the school teach that topic, then we start learning. No, they can start anytime. Right? Some of my primary one students, I know that they already know their 2 timetable and their 5 timetable. And I will challenge them a bit. I'll ask them, what do you think is 12 times 2? What do you think is 12 times 5? Even though in school, maybe now they are only learning numbers from numbers within 10, right? But I will ask them, what is 12 times 2? Oh, 24. What's 5 times 12? 60. So, it's never, I won't say it's too early to learn. Yeah, the earlier they learn, the better it is to recite the timetable. Okay. Uh, Inculcate productive deposition. This one, meaning to help them understand what is it that they are learning. So in primary two, they learn the topic of mass. Okay, they may see it on paper or in the textbook, 1 kg. 1 gram. But do they really know what is 1 kg, 1 gram? I always ask my student, what is your weight? Some of them, they don't know. So I ask them, next time you measure your weight, please remember your weight. And I always like to ask my student, what is your height? Okay, if you know what is your height, you can roughly know and how to answer the question, right? And if they are at the supermarket, it can be a pack of rice, it can be a bottle of oil. Let them feel what is 1 kg, what is 5 kg, right? So this will help them relate the numbers, the measurements to real life, right? Okay. Uh, Next is revision. Practice question on regular basis for different topics. So interleaving. Interleaving is a skill whereby, if you first learned about a certain topic, okay, then you learn another 2 more topics, and then you come back again to the first topic, it will help to retain your memory and fluency in that topic. Okay, so this is interleaving. So you don't have to, really, really, really focus very hard on one topic until you master it before you move to the next one. Because chances are uh the first topic, some concepts from the first topic may be forgotten. So it's better to learn one topic, move on, then after that come back again. Okay, so this is a better method to learn. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the supermarket math. All right, so this one is teaching them about value for money. There are questions like that, even in primary school. Maybe not at primary 1, primary 2 level. Okay, but it's never too early to start preparing them for this. Okay, so what's the difference over here? 1.5 liter, 12 bottles. On the left, 1.5 liter, 12 bottles, $7.20. On the right, 600 milliliter, 24 bottles. Which one should we buy? Yeah. Okay, so you can discuss such things with your child to help them understand the value of money better. Okay, so this is also mathematics, right? Okay. Uh, at this point in time, is there any question? Because that's all I want to share. That's all I want to share from my session today. We just left the last 3 minutes for anyone to ask any question about the MOE syllabus or about our mind structure curriculum. Or any challenges that parents may be facing when guiding your primary 1 or primary 2 child in mathematics. So if you have any question, you can raise them up now. If you want to ask about the MOE syllabus, mind structure curriculum, or any challenges faced when guiding your primary 1 or primary 2 child for mathematics. Okay. If there's any question, you can keep them coming in the chat or in the Q&A. Okay. Thank you for attending today's session.